Chevrolet C/K third generation, 1973 to 1991. An all-new clean sheet redesign of General Motors Chevrolet and GMC brand C/K series pickups debuted in mid-1972 for the 1973 model year. Development of the new third-generation trucks began in 1968 with vehicle components undergoing simulated testing on computers before the first prototype pickups were even built for real-world testing. The redesign was revolutionary in appearance at the time, particularly the cab, departing from typical American pickup truck designs of the era. Aside from being near twins, the Chevrolet and GMC pickups looked like nothing else on the road. The third-generation trucks are colloquially known as the square body or box body generation. GM's official rounded line moniker highlighted the pickup's rounded styling cues that were incorporated into the design. This included rounded windshield corners, rounded corners of the cab roof, rounded corner doors which cut high into the cab roof eliminating roof height, slanted front fenders, and rounded pickup box corners which allowed for rounded wraparound taillamps, a first for GM pickups. The design also featured strong distinctive curved shoulder lines which rounded out below the belt line. 18. The curved shoulder line continued across the back tailgate on Chevrolet Fleetside and GMC Wideside models. However, the low slope of the hood and rectangular front end of the truck originated the square, box body nickname, which was propagated through truck magazines and word of mouth. GM's design engineers fashioned the rounded line exterior in an effort to help improve aerodynamics and fuel efficiency, using wind tunnel technology to help them sculpt the body. Other design traits include sleek sculpted bodywork, an aerodynamic cab with steep windshield rake, and a unique available hidden radio antenna embedded into the windshield glass. There were two types of pickup boxes to choose from. The first type, called Fleetside by Chevrolet and Wideside by GMC, was a full-width pickup box and featured a flared shoulder line to complement the cab in addition to rounded box corners and the new aforementioned rounded wraparound taillamps. Both steel and wood floors were available. The second type, called Stepside by Chevrolet and Fenderside by GMC, was a narrow-width pickup box featuring steps and exposed fenders with standalone tail lamps. Initially, only wood floors were available. The wheelbase length was extended to 117.5 in, 2,985 mm, for the short wheelbase pickups, and 131.5 in, 3,340 mm, for the long wheelbase pickups. A new dual rear wheel option called Big Dually was introduced on 1-ton pickups, along with a new crew cab option on the 164.5 in, 4,178 mm, wheelbase. An optional Limit camper was made available for the Big Dually. Crew cabs were available on C30 pickup and chassis cab, and K20 chassis cab models in two versions, a 3+3 which seated up to 6 occupants and bonus cab which deleted the rear seat and added rear lockable storage in its place. The fuel tank was moved from the cab to the outside of the frame, and a dual tank option was available which brought fuel capacity to 40 US gallons. 1980 was the first year that a cassette tape player could be purchased, along with a CB radio. The rounded line generation ultimately ran for a lengthy 15 model years, 1973 to 1987, with the exception of the crew cab, C/K30 4-door cab, Blazer, Jimmy, and Suburban versions, which continued up until the 1991 model year. GM ends this generation with 1987 as 1987 was the last model year for the conventional cabs, 2-door cab. The third generation pickups were offered in several equipment level packages or trim packages. Chevrolet, GMC used various names for the trim levels throughout the vehicle's life cycle and some were rearranged in their class order. For the 1973 and 1974 model years, the base, standard, trim level was custom, mid-range trims were custom deluxe, super custom, luxury trims were Cheyenne, Sierra, and top-of-the-line luxury trim levels were Cheyenne Super, Sierra Grand. For the 1975 model year the trim levels were revised and the base trims were now custom deluxe, Sierra, Mid-range trims were Scottsdale, Sierra Grande, luxury trims were Cheyenne, High Sierra, and the top-of-the-line luxury trim levels were now known as Silverado, Sierra Classic. They remained in this configuration up to the 1987 model year. For the 1982 model year, the luxury trim levels were dropped, leaving the base, mid-range, and top-of-the-line luxury trim level packages. Soft touch materials were used throughout the passenger cabin, such as the dashboard, doors, armrests, steering wheel, and shift levers. Subtle grained interior panels and bright metal work was used on the inside, with high-quality materials also used on the outside, like chrome, aluminum, and polished stainless steel, particularly on top-of-the-line luxury Silverado or Sierra Classic trim levels. Custom vinyl or soft custom cloth and velour seating surfaces were used along with fabric headliners, door inserts, and plush carpeting, depending on the trim level. Upper-class trim levels also used acoustic deadening materials for quieter ride comfort. From model years 1973 to 1977, chestnut wood grain inserts were used on the dashboard and doors for further visual enhancement. The wood grain inserts were replaced by bright brushed aluminum inserts for model years 1978 to 1987. A Delco AM/FM audio sound system and an all-season climate control system that heated, cooled, cleaned, and dehumidified were optional extras. At its launch in 1972, the square body K Series introduced two firsts in safety advancements concerning full-size pickups, and would later lead a third safety advancement in 1975. The first was the standard passenger side view mirror, and the second was the energy-absorbing collapsible steering column. Patented by GM and already in use in its cars since 1967, the new energy-absorbing steering column was standard on all C Series and K Series models. The third safety advancement was the introduction of dual front lap and shoulder safety belts with emergency locking retractors for outboard occupants in 1975 for the 1976 model year. These replaced the outdated and inadequate lap belts previously used. A center lap safety belt with slack adjustment was provided for the center occupant. Ford and Dodge would follow one model year later, adding lap and shoulder safety belts to their pickups. Other safety features included soft padded interior panels for appearance and safety, 3,329 square inches of tempered and laminated safety glass, prismatic rearview mirror, 6-turn signal indicator lamps with asymmetrical flash, 4-way hazard function, and lane departure function. Third-generation square-body K Series pickups gained an all-new, high-tensile strength carbon steel ladder-type frame with drop-center design. Steering controls included variable ratio recirculating ball steering gear with optional hydraulic power assist. Braking controls included front self-adjusting disc brakes with rear fin drum brakes and optional 4-wheel hydraulic hydro boost or vacuum boost power assist. 16. Engines choices initially consisted of 6 or 8-cylinder engines with either manual or turbo-hydromatic transmissions. C Series pickups included 2-wheel drive and featured an independent front suspension, IFS, system with contoured lower control arms and coil springs. GM's new load control rear suspension system took up residence in the back. The load control rear suspension system consisted of a rear live axle with dual-stage Vari-Rate multi-leaf springs and asymmetrical, offset, shock absorber geometry, to help sort out any wheel hop under heavy loads or hard acceleration. K-Series pickups included either conventional, permanent, or shift-on-the-move 4-wheel drive. The latter system was introduced for 1981. Regardless of the type of 4-wheel drive system equipped, all K-Series pickups featured 4-corner Vari-Rate multi-leaf springs, front live axle with symmetrical, inline, shock absorber geometry, and the load control rear suspension system. K-Series pickups also featured an off-road oriented design, with the transfer case bolted directly to the transmission and running gear tucked up as high as possible under the vehicle to reduce the chances of snagging vital components on obstacles, as well as to achieve a low silhouette and optimal ground clearance. Exposed brake lines wrapped in steel were standard, with underbody skid plate armor optional for further protection. Conventional four-wheel drive pickups featured manual locking hubs and a 2-speed new Process 205 transfer case with 4 drive modes, 2 high, 4 high, neutral, and 4 low. 2 high gave a 0:100 torque split, while 4 high yielded a locked 50 hours 50 minutes torque split. 4 low applied reduction gearing. The front and rear propeller shafts were locked at all times in 4 high and 4 low. Neutral allowed for flat towing, or use of the power takeoff, PTO. Full-time four-wheel drive pickups featured a 2-speed new Process 203 transfer case with center differential and lock. 5 positions were provided: high lock, high, neutral, low, and low lock. In high, the center differential was unlocked and allowed the front and rear propeller shafts to slip as needed for full-time operation. The system could be manually shifted into high lock, which locked the center differential for a locked 50 hours 50 minutes torque split. Low and low lock applied reduction gearing with or without lock, depending on the mode selected. Neutral was also available for use of the PTO. A new Eaton automatic differential lock, ADL, was introduced in 1973 as an optional extra on the rounded line C, K series pickups, for the rear hypoid differential. The new automatic clocking differential was offered under the G86 code, replacing the Eaton no-spin differential, and eventually replacing the old Posit traction limited slip differential in 1974, at which point it assumed the G80 code. The Eaton ADL featured intelligent differential control via an internal governor which monitored vehicle speed and wheel slip to know when to automatically lock and could lock up 100% at or below 20 miles per hour, 32 kilometers per hour, increasing tractive effort. The differential lock would unlock and deactivate at speeds above 20 miles per hour for safety reasons, such as the vehicle being on dry pavement. Towing and payload capacity ratings for rounded line C, K series pickups varied, depending on how they were configured. Factors such as engine and transmission combination, differential gear ratio, curb weight, and whether the pickup was two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive decided how much the pickup could safely tow or haul. A properly equipped C-Series half-ton class pickup could tow up to 8,000 pounds, 4 tons, of braked trailer, while a properly equipped C-Series 3/4 ton or 1-ton class pickup could tow up to 12,000 pounds, 6 tons, of braked trailer. Adding four-wheel drive reduced towing capability due to increased curb weight, which resulted from additional driveline components, transfer case, front axle, front differential, front propeller shaft, and so on, needed to facilitate four-wheel drive. A properly equipped K-Series half-ton or 3/4 ton class pickup could tow up to 6,500 pounds, 3.25 tons, of braked trailer, whilst a properly equipped K-Series 1-ton class pickup could tow 500 pounds more, up to 7,000 pounds, 3.5 tons, of braked trailer. Heavy-duty towing equipment was available for both C and K series pickups, such as the Trailering Special Package, included power steering, uprated battery, an uprated generator, 7-pin trailer electrics connector, heavy-duty engine oil cooler, heavy-duty transmission oil cooler, and a weight distributing trailer hitch. For the 1975 model year, the 185 horsepower 400 cubic inches, 6.6 liters, small block V8 was added to the line, and there was a realignment of Chevy trim levels, along with new grills and clear, white instead of orange front turn signals. Base models gained a passenger side wood grain dash accent and a new plaid upholstery pattern, which would change slightly each year until 1978. A new gauge to show voltage replaced the ammeter in 1976, and the engine size decals were removed from the grille during this model year. For 1977 models, power windows and power door locks were introduced as an optional extra. There was another round of new grilles, revised inner door panels that left less metal exposed, a four-wheel drive, full 1-ton chassis was added to the lineup, and a Dana 6T was used for the front axle, as well as an electric oil pressure gauge replacing the mechanical unit. Trucks with an optional trim level, but without an additional wheel upgrade, received flatter stainless steel hubcaps, still with painted accents. This was also the only year with yellow painted trim instead of black. All 1978 models got new, flatter dash trim panels, black on the lower two trims and aluminum look on the fancier two. Base models received the flatter stainless hubcaps. The gas tank was moved from the right side to the left, and step sides got new squared-off taillights with built-in backup lights and side markers, while the rear fenders were smoothed out where the old side markers were. Fuel doors were added on models equipped with a bed to hide the previously exposed fuel caps. The 1979 models got a new grille surround that incorporated the turn signals. Inside there was a new full-width houndstooth seat trim on base models and a rare, fifth interior color option on the higher series called Oyster by Chevrolet and Mystic by GMC, mostly white with a gray dash, carpeting and cloth. Fuel doors were added in '79 to the rest of the lineup, following the previous year's change on models with a bed. For the 1980 model year, full-time four-wheel drive was discontinued on K-Series, leaving only conventional four-wheel drive. Some pickups gained a new grille, others did not. High-trim Chevys had both a new surround that incorporated near-flush square headlights and revised turn signals with a new, square grille pattern, while a GMC base model was entirely carry-over. Base Chevys had the new center section in the 1979 surround, while GMCs with up-level trims or the separate RPOV22 option had the new square light surround with the main grille introduced in 1977. Blue interiors were a darker shade than before,